Hello, hello, you guys. Welcome back to Real Talk with Cinthia. I am your host, Cinthia Tamayo. Can you hear me, Mac?
I can hear you. Hi.
Yes, let's go. You guys, I am so excited for this episode 12. I can't even believe I've done 12 podcasts already, right? How you do it? How you do it? I gotta learn how to do
Oh, you're
that.
doing it, girl. Yes.
I love it. Welcome, Mac. You guys, I have Mac Castro here as my special guest. If you guys don't know, if you're in Salt Lake City, you know who he is for sure. Okay, but he's like, oh my goodness.
I'm like,
But
it's
I'm so
okay.
excited to have you here. Thank you so much for making time for me. How are you doing, love?
Oh my gosh, of course. Thank you so much for having me. This is my very first podcast ever. So I'm
Woo!
like, oh my gosh, yay. Thank you truly so much. I'm doing so great. How are you?
Good, good, good. I am so honored to have you on. Like, I was like, you know what, Mac, I don't know. Will he have time for a small podcaster like
Oh my gosh.
myself?
Of course, always, anytime.
No, but I love it. I appreciate your time because I know you're very, very busy. And I'm so excited to talk to you. I've been wanting to. I was like, I see all your content and I'm just like, oh my gosh, like I have to pick his brain and just talk to him because you're doing such amazing things here in this city, in your life, period, which we'll get into that in just a second. So, but before we continue, guys, if you guys are tuning in live, I see a few people joining. Make sure you guys interact in the comment section. You guys, we want to talk to you guys. If you have questions for Mac, make sure you drop them there. And most importantly, share the live with you guys. Okay. If you guys, and don't forget to subscribe, by the way, just subscribe to the channel.
Subscribe right now.
Yes, right now, please. We'll take 30.2 seconds. But Mac, I'm so happy to have you here. And of course, for people who don't know you or people who come back and watch the replay of this episode, just introduce a quick little intro of who you are. And then we'll kind of get more into like all the fun stuff because, oh my God, I have so many questions for you.
Perfect. Yes. Well, hi, everyone. My name is Mac Castro. I am a local here to Salt Lake City. I am a content creator. I also host events for the community. I do monthly markets, like farmers markets and stuff for small businesses here in Salt Lake City. I also host like club nights, like Latin nights and stuff like that. I have my DJs and we go and have a really good, awesome Latin night every month or so. And yeah, I also have a jewelry brand, Eterno Jewelry Co., which I'm sure we'll talk about later.
Yeah.
And yeah, I just kind of do a bunch of stuff.
So many things. You're like, I wear so many hats, which I love it.
I do.
Shout out to Lily, my daughter. Thank you, Miha, for the super chat. Thank you for showing up. I love that. So I'm going to start from the beginning, Mac. And of course, you can share whatever you're comfortable sharing, right? Because obviously, it's real talk conversation. So, but I love because I want to get into like the things that you're doing here in the city. Because if you guys don't know, I live here in Salt Lake City too. So it's guys, in the future, I will have a studio, but right now we have to still do it virtual, but it's okay. But tell me, I want to know like how long you've been here in Salt Lake, like when did you get here in Utah and like how kind of that started and how it kind of, where your interest to like, or where you started doing like social media, you know what I mean? And how that started and then like where it transpired, where you're like, wait a minute, I want to do this full time. But let's start like kind of like, how long have you been here in Utah? Like how was your life back in the days? And then how you kind of got interested in social media. Does that make sense?
Absolutely. Yes. Thank you for asking. So to go way back, I grew up in Mexico, actually. So I was born in Los Angeles, California. But when I was about 1 month old, my mom took me right back to Mexico where she lived. Because she just wanted to give me the simple life. And she had a lot of she had an established life over there, whereas here she didn't. And so we went back and that's where I spent my whole childhood. And when I was about 12 years old, I moved here with my family to Utah, to West Valley, actually.
Okay.
And that's where, I went to high school, then I stayed, and then I did college. And I didn't really start doing social media at all until, I mean, I had Vine back in the day. Who remembers Vine?
Oh
But
my gosh. Yeah. I remember that. That's crazy.
yeah. Yeah, so I did have that and I did like a couple of videos here and there, but it wasn't anything serious. And then TikTok popped off in
Mhm.
2019 and then the pandemic happened. So I was just consuming the media
Perfect
and I
timing.
was like, right, absolutely. So I was like,
Yeah, yeah,
maybe
yeah.
I do have some time to
Yeah.
make more content. So I didn't really find my voice online. I didn't find my niche. I didn't really take it seriously. I wouldn't say until maybe 2022, 23 is when I
Okay.
started doing a little bit more, working a little more on my editing, kind of building my community on here.
Yeah.
And then about 2.5 years ago is when I started kind of really honing down on what kind of content I wanted to put out. I wouldn't say it was until last year, actually. So it's been a very slow burn, but last year is
Wow.
when I really kind of took off, and I've been getting really amazing opportunities and, getting even more of a community and just building things. And yeah, it's been a super exciting journey and it's just getting started, I feel. So yeah.
Yes. And I love that. Thank you for sharing that. And the reason, okay, Mac, let's be real. Like, I don't know if it's because I followed you and then all of a sudden I'm like, there are so many influencers here in Utah
Yeah.
and Latinos. Like
Yes, we're here.
all kinds, right? But like I don't know if it's because you follow certain people and you start like seeing, but I'm so like shook. Gosh, the Latinas coming out,
Both.
okay? You know what I mean?
I'm shook too, girl.
Right? No, because I'm
Yeah.
just like, oh my gosh, like I'm like, wow, like literally there's so much. So it's really cool to see the Latino culture also like coming up and doing things here,
Yeah.
and obviously locally, but I mean, period, right? But like
Yeah.
but to see, so and I think it's not. I mean, like I told you, behind the scenes, I was like, man, sometimes I'm like, I'll tell these young people, but I mean, really, it's an opportunity for anybody, right? But what
Yeah.
would you say that really that you felt like, okay, I could do this? Like, were you just being super consistent, or were you kind of just like scoping out like what other content creators were doing? And I asked because let's be real, like you said, especially since the pandemic, a lot of people got even. We put our heads more into this, into on social media and on the internet, so but also, I feel like there's so much opportunity. People are making money online. Let's just, I
Yes.
hope one day I can grow up and be like you know what I mean?
Oh,
But
stop.
no, but seriously, like it's such a big thing. But I feel like what is your say like where you're like, okay, this is kind of I can do this. I can make this for a living. You know what I mean? And we're going to talk about because
Yeah.
you're a full entrepreneur and everything. But like when it comes to social media, I want to focus on that first, and then we'll kind of go on to your other businesses because you have a lot going on, which I love.
Thank you. Yeah, absolutely. So, I mean, consistency definitely was key for me. When I started really seeing the shift of things when I started doing like daily videos, like you really do have
Mm,
to treat it as a full-time job. And for me, it kind of worked out funny because I quit my full-time job, my corporate job back in March of last year, and that
okay.
I didn't have any plan or anything. And then that's when I started my
Oh wow.
jewelry business. And so I really saw how impactful social media is for
Mm,
anything that we do nowadays and like
yeah.
how it's tied into business and how whatever project you have, you need that social media aspect in order to be
Presence.
successful. And
Yeah.
so after that, that's when I really started merging my projects together and then using social media to my advantage, but also building my community, responding to the comments and like
Yeah.
actually saying yes to projects and going to, when I got started to get invited to influencer events and stuff, like actually
That's
showing up and building a community in person too. I feel like that made a world of a difference. And so
yeah.
then I was able to start monetizing and, getting
Mm.
into bigger projects like that. But I feel like consistency, building your community, and your editing are the three
Ah,
things that I feel like you really have to focus on to be successful on social media.
I love that. I love that. So would you say you took off on TikTok and
Yeah,
then Instagram or
definitely.
kind of just TikTok?
Yeah, TikTok is my largest following, and I
Yeah.
feel like I get a lot of support there. But
Yeah.
also, Instagram has so many different
It's a
features, and
different,
like,
yeah.
yeah, just like I have a lot of like businesses that follow me on Instagram,
Mm,
whereas TikTok is more of like my personal content and stuff like that. So just
yeah.
different platforms.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. Well, I love that because, and I ask because I feel like sometimes people, like for example, if I see you, I follow you, some people get intimidated because they're like, oh, they have a lot of followers, like I can't do this, you know what I mean? But I
yeah,
feel like to me, it's inspiring because like number one, you said consistency, and I think that is so true because if like I post a video and it only gets 100 views and people cry, but I'm not cry, but like I mean I've been there too. But then you think about it, that's 100 people. Like I think it's just
yeah.
getting out of your head, would you say, and just being consistent. Like I know for me, people are. I remember a friend once told me, "Ay, amiga," she's like, "Ya no pongas cosas así como de motivation. That's kind of boring." She's like, "Put this
Oh,
and that," and I was like, and like at first it hurt my feelings, but then I'm like, "But I want to put what I want to put." So, but would you say it just depends on like what your goals are for social media? Like, do you want to grow? Do you want to eventually monetize? Do you want to eventually collaborate? And then kind of go off of that? Like, you know what I mean? Because
mhm.
I'm sure every person on social media, especially people who are out here like influencers or doing things, they have a different maybe I guess goal or niche, if you would,
Mhm.
right?
Yeah,
Or what would you say to people
absolutely.
who are maybe like just starting who are like myself that don't have that many followers, but you're trying to be consistent, but like, I don't know.
Yeah, I feel like what's really, really helped me through this whole journey is remembering my why. If you
Mm,
remember your why, if the reason I mean, to each their own, but for me, it's never been about the money. It's never been
mm.
like, how can I squeeze the monetization here? How can I
Yeah,
make money off of the views and the people that I like help? Because I do a lot of like my content, a lot of it is with businesses, like shouting out local
yeah,
restaurants and
which I
visiting
love that.
experiences and stuff. So I feel like for me, it's always going to be about sharing stories, about building
Mm,
community, about what I want to put out like into the world just in general, not what
Yeah.
I'm going to get in return. So I feel like
Yeah.
when you really focus on that, on why you're doing the things you're doing, and just things start getting clearer, you start getting like
Mm,
a clearer path of like, oh yeah, I really like this kind of content just for myself, just to prove to
yeah.
myself that I can put myself out there, that there's nothing stopping me. And who knows? I hope it grows and I hope I can make a career out of this if
Yeah.
that's your goal. But really, it should be, let's put this information out or let's put this content out for ourselves just to feel fulfilled, and the
I
rest will
love that.
come later.
I love that. And would you say, which I think I know what you're gonna say, is I think a lot of times people like you like I can see your content and be like, oh my God, he's so good. Especially lately. I'm like, God, he's killing it with those videos. I just love like I literally could sit there and watch all your videos. But
Thank
would
you.
you say, but a lot of times people I feel like we get in our heads and be like, oh, I have to be like Mac, or oh, I have to, you know what I'm saying? Would
Yeah.
you agree and say just be authentically you, like figure out like what it is that your goal, like you said, your why, like what you're doing on social media. And I think it's such a great episode because a lot of people are on social media right now. Some people are lost and they see people like you that you're being successful at it. But a lot of times I think we get in our heads and be like, oh, I don't know if I'll ever, you know what I mean? Would you say you have to
Mhm.
stick to being authentically you and then kind of go with that?
Oh yeah, especially
Right?
like even before like everything else, like if you're not authentically you and if you're not proud of the content that you're putting out or if it
Mhm.
just feels fake and fabricated, not only are people going to see that and not really
True.
vibe with it, but also
True.
yourself. Like where does that leave you? Where does that leave your integrity and where does that leave you as a
Yeah.
content creator, you know? So truly I
That's true.
think that it all starts with that. Just figuring out your why and just doing it for yourself, just to prove a point to yourself, not to anybody else.
Mm,
And then, yeah, just the consistency and everything will come after that. And people will start really connecting to you as an individual rather than you
yeah,
as a like a walking commercial, you know?
that's
So
true.
yeah, I would say that.
And I love that because obviously, like I love how lately, or I don't know how long you've been doing, like you put little funny, like your personality comes out, and I love it. Oh my gosh, like I said, I can sit there and watch it for days. Like when I say that, I genuinely mean it. But it's really cool because like you have built a business now off of social media. Now we're gonna talk about you have your jewelry business and other things that you've been doing, and it's just really really cool, But I think it's a I feel like it's very encouraging for people, not just locals here in Salt Lake City, but anybody who's watching, wherever you are. Like if you do post on a regular, I feel like in the future we're like in this era of like digital, and everything in the future. I mean, everything's already like online, you know what I mean? So I think if
Yeah.
you can do something on social media and like you said, have people relate to you, I think relatable is really cool. But like what you're doing also, even with businesses, like you're saying, you're telling the story behind the businesses. Not only are you promoting their business because that's going to help them, but it's also giving a little bit of a feedback of where it started. The people who like the
Mhm.
owners, or it's kind of like what we're doing here at the episode. I love interviewing people because people can see you on social media, but when you have a one-on-one conversation, it's like, oh wow, I didn't know like you struggled a little bit, or I didn't know, people think things are just handed to them, right? But when
Mhm.
you talk to people and you're like, wait, it takes work and
Yes.
consistency and things, and not everything is going to be handed to you. So what would you say, Mac, with that? What has been maybe one of the biggest challenges, like doing what you're doing, like being an entrepreneur, building a business, your business is like, what would you say has been one of the biggest challenges, or several? I don't know. you know?
Mhm. Yeah, I mean, it's definitely time. It takes so much time and it
Mm,
takes so much work. And when I started doing this, I didn't really realize how much, like, it really is a full-time job. And don't get
mm-hmm.
discouraged if you're watching, like, don't get discouraged if this is something that you want to do, if you just started or you've been at it for years. And just give yourself grace because I realized that the majority of people that are creating content have full lives outside of that. You have
Yeah.
children, you have school, you have work. Like, it really is so hard to make time for things like this. So I know I'm in a very privileged position to be able to do it full time. But believe me when I say it has not been an easy journey. It's taken me years and years and years to even
Yeah.
believe in myself enough to be like, yeah,
Mm,
I can put myself out there and what I say matters, my
yeah.
story and like the stories that I share and stuff like that matter. And so I feel like I would just say, as a word of advice, just
Yeah.
instead of just saying, keep it going, keep trying, just
Yeah.
believe in yourself and truly like
That part.
figure out what you want out of this and what you want people to connect with, and then just do it. Be consistent. Try to do it. Maybe if it's not every day, just every week. Start small.
Yeah.
Another thing that really helped me when I started is I really have, I believe that editing is such an important
Oh,
part of
I
making good
need tips
quality
on that.
content. And
yeah.
I got him, girl, anytime. But I feel like I would just make little videos and I would just really study how, like, I use CapCut. So I
Mm,
studied the whole software. I would play with it and then I would like make videos and I never published them or anything, just like to get
mm,
that practice.
yeah.
And then once I felt like I was really comfortable and confident in my producing
Yeah.
content, that's when I
Yeah.
started actually posting. And I feel like that makes a world of a difference too. So, give
Yeah.
yourself grace and just keep pushing, keep trying. And you matter, your story matters, and people really connect to you. Just put yourself out there.
I love that. I love that. And you know what? I love how you answer that because it's true. And let's be real talk, right? When you said time, I feel like and I think, and guys, I'm sorry if you do guys tune in every week. I appreciate you. And sorry if I repeat this every week, but I think it's just so important because it has stuck with me till this day. When Tony Robbins said he used to work a 9 to 5, but then when he would get home, he would start his 9 to 5 like on the things that he wanted to do. And I feel like even social media, because you hear people are like, oh my God, I heard people even this week, there's too many influencers here in Utah. There's too many. And you hear that, but I'm like, says who? Like the internet is such a big thing, a place. And I feel like a lot of people give up because we don't want to put in the work. That's just the truth. Like, because yeah, it's time consuming. Like you said, we have our regular jobs. You're trying to make it out here in this world. And then you're trying to build something. Sometimes it's easier to be like, I'm tired. I don't want to edit, or I don't want to, you know what I mean? And I feel like everybody's so different. Like, for example, you have your talent, you know what I mean? Your aura, whatever you're doing. But again, it's not going to look the same for everybody. You can give tips and say, hey guys, but and then at the end of the day, like you said, you have to believe in you. Like, what makes you happy? Like what makes you want to get up and excited about doing something, and I'll tell you a quick just kind of like an example. Like, I started a part-time job right at Nordstrom, and it's fine, and I'm grateful if anybody's watching, but working there has made me really like, this is not what I want to do. You know what I mean? Like
Mhm.
this is not what I want to do. So I think it's such a blessing that you're able to do that. But people have to understand that it looks nice when you see the videos, but it's hard work. It's
Yeah.
dedication, right? It's you putting in time, and like you said, learning either editing or how can I make the content better? Or, you know what I mean? But ultimately, Mac, I love it because I see it and I'm like, man, if I could just be my own boss, create content and live, actually enjoy life how we're supposed to,
Yeah.
like, is it not worth it? You know what I mean? I know you're
Absolutely.
seeing the fruits of your labor, if you will, from all the work that you've done, right? Even congratulations on your car, by the way.
Thank you.
So cute. She's beautiful.
Thank you. Thank you.
But I think it's something that you have to be proud of yourself, because I think people see it. And again, it's so easy to judge or to be like, ay, pues, or whatever, people always have something to say. But I
Yeah.
think, like, in life, if you want something, really, you have to put in the work. Like,
Yeah.
would you
Definitely.
agree?
I definitely agree. And I
Yeah.
love what you mentioned, how you said that we're supposed to enjoy life, because that is my number one life
Yes.
philosophy, driving force. I feel like everything
Yes.
changed for me when I realized, like, hey, yes, this is the programming that we're, taught
Uh-huh.
from a very young age. You have to, grow up, go to school, and then go to college, even though you don't know what you want to do. And then once you get into all
Exactly.
this debt and you go through all these years of college and you still don't know what to do, you have to try to get a
Yeah.
corporate job and build and climb up the ladder and stuff like that, and then you have to
Hmm.
get married and have children, and then
You
you
have
can
to, you
enjoy
have
your
to, you
life
have
when
to.
you retire. But then you realize you're not going to enjoy any of those, what, 30, 40 years up until then.
Exactly.
Why wait until later when you can enjoy now? So I
Mm.
definitely agree that you really have to sit down with yourself and be like, is this the life that I want to live? Am I enjoying my
Yes.
time here on earth? And if the answer is no, you definitely have the power and potential to change it. And I know
Yes.
it's easier said than done. I know it's
Right.
easy as someone on, in this position to say, oh yeah,
Yeah.
just quit your job, or just, I'm not saying that. Definitely don't quit your job if you're not ready for that.
Yeah,
But
yeah, if you're not ready, exactly.
yeah, yeah, but make sure you take the time to even ask yourself those questions, challenge all these teachings that were taught from a very young age. And
Yeah.
if you really don't enjoy the life that you have, look for things that you can do, whether it's finding
Mm.
a hobby that's fulfilling or finding a better job that may not pay as much, but you're going to feel much at peace. Because at the end of the day,
No.
you could be making money at a job you hate, or you can be making a little bit less money for something that you really, really enjoy to do. So just,
Yeah.
you have the power and the ability to change those things. It might not look the same for everybody, it might not be
Mhm.
as easily accessible, but
Mhm.
it's definitely possible. And that's the number one thing. Once you start making those changes and asking yourself those hard questions and taking the actions necessary, that's when you can really see how the universe will truly just start blessing you and providing you with the things you want.
Yes, I love that. I love that, Mac, because I think it's so important to talk about these things, because I always say this, and I've had several conversations with people where I don't remember who said this or who quoted this, right? But where it says the grave or the cemetery is where there's like the biggest dreams, the passions. People leave this life not doing what made them happy, or not finding out, hey, what's my purpose on life, and I think
Yeah.
you're right. Obviously you can't tell somebody quit your job, but I am so passionate about, like, hold on a second, like, whatever time I have here on earth, I want to make sure I'm happy. Like, yes, you have to be responsible adults, guys. We're not telling you to, like, quit your job, but you can also have a plan. Be like, listen, like, think about it, Mac. Like, how many people maybe are home and they're depressed and they're just not happy because you lose the uh either lose, or you're just not in a place where, like, you're not doing what makes you happy. And I feel like when we get into that place is because we're really not doing what makes us passionate, what we're passionate about, whether that's social media, whether that's I don't know, an artist, being an artist, being, so many things. I interview, like, music people here, on here, and just people in fitness or whatever. I feel like every single one of us has a passion or things that make us happy. And sometimes, and I'm guilty of it, you're like, oh, I'm too old for that, or, oh, ya pasó mi tiempo, like, I can't do that no more. Or, and we live our lives comparing ourselves to other people, especially on social media. It's easy to scroll and just be like, ah, I wish I had his life, or I wish I had her life. And I feel like that just, I don't know, it makes me kind of sad thinking about it, because so many times we don't live a life that truly makes us happy. That doesn't mean it's going to be perfect, right? But it is so important to be like, hold on a second. Like, if somebody is doing it, they're putting in the work. So that just means I have to be like, okay, what does make me happy? And pursue it. Like you just said, if you're miserable at your job, okay. If you find a different job, maybe it's not like the best, but you're a little more happy, then why not do it? I think that's worth it, So I think that is so important. I love how you said that, because life, it is beautiful, and it is a sad thing when you think about, like, living a life where all you just did is work, 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 and you never truly, like, enjoyed life. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? Like, and I think
Definitely.
that's sad. And I used to host spaces on Twitter or on X, and I can't tell you how many people would say, yeah, when my parents grew up, I never saw them. They're always working, and they passed away. And like, that breaks my heart, because it's like you said something very important, the stigmas that are placed in society in our life. People, I think they're like, oh, I have to be married by this time, or I have to do this, or I have, you know what I mean? And it's like, says who?
Hmm.
Right? Because look at you, Mac. You're like, when you think about it, I'm the author of my story. Whether you failed in the past or whether you're not where you want to be, it's up to us to get there, right? What do you think about that?
I definitely agree. I feel like the
Yeah,
time is such a concept. Like it really is just this made up thing. Like sure, it's very
it's
real,
true.
but at the same time, timelines, like
It's true.
you don't have to do anything. You're never too old for anything. You're never too, it's never too late. Like truly, if it's something that you want to do and that fulfills you, it
So
doesn't
true.
have to be for anybody else, just for yourself.
Yes.
If it makes you happy, I feel like once you start doing the things that you connect with as a human
Mhm.
being, like you vibrate differently, like your confidence exudes differently, like
Ooh,
people start noticing things differently. And then like I hate to keep going back to the universe, but I'm such a big
no, you have to.
believer in energy and in universe and
Same.
like and just blessings like that, whether it's you believe in a god or just an energy or whatever it
Yeah.
is, there definitely is something greater than us, like
Yeah.
that kind of keeps tabs on us. And if we are choosing to stay stuck on this programming, on this misery that we
Mm,
are in, that's what we're going to see more of, because that's what they're seeing that we're doing and that we're focusing our attention and our energy into. But
it's
if you start doing other things and start telling the universe and start being grateful for different things and
mm,
just start moving differently, I feel like that's when you can really tell, at least just being conscious of like, yes, my job is not ideal right now, but this other thing that I've built for myself is, or these other dreams that I
yes.
have are ideal for me and they're for me. Because I feel like another thing that I've heard is like, if you're not, or if it wasn't meant for to be for you, or if
Mhm.
it wasn't even possible, it wouldn't even be a dream or an idea
Mm,
or a thought for
yes.
you. So the universe is ready to provide. You just got to tell it what you want and act accordingly, and you just notice how it's going to start changing for you.
Ooh, I love that. And you're right. Because, like, if you have a dream or you think of something that makes you happy, it's like there's a quote that says also, if you can't stop thinking of something, like, you have to act on it. It's not just
Mhm.
something that randomly popped in. It's like, okay, if you're something gets you excited, or something you're like, oh my God, when I was younger, or I wish I could, and you just never acted on it. That's what we're talking about, the cemetery, where I don't want to leave
Yeah.
this earth, and we take all our talents, all our passions, or what makes us happy, and you're right. Something very important you said, and I'm a firm believer on it. We're all human. We have our days, right? But I think if you, oh my God, my earring fell. If we fall into gratitude, I think that's like, that changes things. Because imagine, think about it. If you're focused on what you don't have, you're focused on what didn't happen, or even what happened to you in your life, right? And we're just stuck there, stuck there, stuck there. Like, how do you grow? How do you move past that?
Mhm.
Right? Versus
Yeah.
being like, okay, maybe I'm not where I want to be, but you know what? I'm thankful I'm not where I used to be, you know,
Hmm.
and I'm gonna work towards what I want. And I feel like that all has to do again, and this is the truth, you guys, if you guys are watching, let me know what you think. But I feel like we spend too much time, especially because social media, it's easy to compare ourselves. You know, I wish, but it's like really the people who you're looking at, again, we don't know the story behind how they got there. We don't know the hard
Hmm.
work. We don't know the all the hours spent, all the, you know, and it's really just, if you take anything from today's episode, is just like, hey, we can really do whatever we want. We just have to make up our minds and believe in ourselves, like you said, Mac, because I think we're waiting for people to cheer us on, which it feels nice, right? When people are like, hey, you know, you can do it.
Yeah.
But really, you have to believe in you and be your biggest cheerleader, because
Hmm.
there's going to be hardships, there's going to be challenges. I don't think it's going to be easy peasy. Would you agree with that?
Definitely. Yeah, like
Has
you
it been
said, you
easy
have to
peasy for
be.
you?
No, it certainly has not been easy peasy. I definitely will have wanting to quit many, many times. I
Yeah,
didn't start until later. And I mean, I'm probably gonna hate myself for doing this later, but I am almost 30 years old. Like I'm turning 30
you're
this
young.
year.
Okay, you want to go there? You want to go there? I'm
No.
just
um,
kidding.
but no, well, I'm saying that because for the longest time, literally, I was like, "Oh, my prime is done." Like
Yes,
I should have started social media like a long time ago, or like there's no places for me, or oh, how cringe is it going to be if I just start doing these silly little videos and like because social media is for the teens and it's for the young adults
yeah,
and stuff. But really, there's always a niche for any age group. There's
true.
always space. Like the sun shines for everybody, truly.
This
So
is true.
it's never too late, and time is made up. And like you said, you have to do what
True.
you want.
That's true. And again, I feel like I think Steve the Canadian saying a lot of stuff is not real, which is true. I mean, I feel like you just have to really focus again on what it is that you want. And I think to see you, Mac, the way you've grown, I mean, I can't remember when I started following you. I think it's been a minute, but it's really inspiring. I think if you look at it that way, like, wow, like it is possible to build something, you know, it is possible to, and also I think a lot of people hold back because of the, what are they going to think? Are they going to
Mhm.
think I'm cringe? Are they going to say anything? And people don't do it. I've been, I think I got to a point where I'm like, I don't really care. I'm going to post whatever I want and people can
Mhm.
do whatever they want. You know what I mean? I think like you have to get into that place, because let me ask you something, and I've seen it, especially recently. Do you get a lot of haters out there in the comments? Like, how do you react to that, man? Because I know I was ready to fight someone the other day for you.
Girl, thank you. Yeah,
How
I
do
don't
you
know.
handle that? Because I mean, that's something that's gonna happen, right? I mean,
Yeah,
right? So how do
yeah,
you handle it? Yeah,
yeah.
block.
People just love to, yeah, they love to project and they love to say things when they believe that no one's really gonna
Hmm.
hold them accountable or no one like is gonna, say something. But I always will because I've dealt with my fair share of like bullying and I've dealt with a lot of
Mm,
like not fitting in, not being, the majority in all the spaces that I'm in, whether it's for being queer, whether it's for being Mexican, like,
yeah,
whatever it is, like I've built a tough like
like a,
armor, right? Yeah, I have tough
yeah,
skin now. So I
yeah.
feel like it's definitely new to me now because now that I have a platform, it also comes with like just being
With the
public to
territory.
anyone.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
And
yeah.
so now that I do get, some hate comments here and there, or some people that don't agree with my lifestyle or what I'm speaking about or like whatever, it's hard, but it's
Mm,
also important for me to just stay grounded, stay centered, and
I love
stay
that.
like focused on my vision and why I'm doing these things. Because yes, there's going to be
Mm,
people that are hating, but there's so much love, so much community that I've built, so
yeah.
many friendships that I've made both in and out of social media
Hmm.
that I am so, so grateful for and so blessed to have. So I focus on that rather than anything else. And
I love that.
it's just not that deep.
And I love that, and the only reason I ask is because I know some people can't handle it, you know? Some
Yeah.
people are just like, or they take it, like, way too personal, and then, I mean, literally, like, it affects them. So I think
Yeah.
it's important. I always say people who take their time to hate and to do, like, to go all out of their way in their life to just do, like, say a hateful comment or just, I'm just like, "Man, you know, people really need to really focus on themselves," because
Yeah.
to me that's inner, it's an inner type of issue that they have to deal with, you know what I mean? And it's like,
Uh-huh.
so I love that the way you what do you say? Most people hating you hate themselves more. Exactly. That's what I'm saying. Exactly. And that's what I'm saying. Like people who take the time to comment something negative is like, okay. So I love, hats off to you for the way you respond to, because I'm telling you, for some people it's not easy. Like I know, I mean,
Yeah.
I know I said I was gonna fight, but I'm not, guys, I'm not like that really. But I was just like, oh, because I just don't like bullies, you know, I don't like people who just are mean, you know. But in this world we live in, it happens, you know. And again, when I see people like that, I'm just like, I wish them the best. I hope they can handle their inner issues that they have
Yeah.
because that they're projecting, like you said, they're just projecting themselves. So, you
Yeah,
know,
it has nothing to do with me.
exactly.
Mhm.
So I'm super proud of you because also, like you said, being Latino here in Utah, I mean, let's just be real. Like,
Yeah.
how have you had a lot of challenges because of that? Like in this state, you know what I mean?
Oh yeah, no,
Yeah.
definitely. Yeah, there's a lot of things that are culturally significant only to Utah and
Mm,
only to the bubble that we live in. I feel like I've always
hmm.
described it as just a very small bubble. We're a small city where everybody knows everybody. Like growing up, like we all kind of went through, to school together, and like we're
Mm,
not like us Latinos, we're not the predominant like race here. And
yeah.
so I've always had challenges with fitting in and feeling like I deserve to be in spaces where
Yeah.
they're not designed for me. But I feel like that's the reason why I've always advocated to make the spaces. Like I'm
Yeah.
very big on like, if there's no spaces for you, if no one else is thinking about you, you got to be the one to put
Create
in
it.
overtime to think about that, to
Mm,
acknowledge it, and to create those spaces. So that's really the driving force behind everything that I do now.
I love
And
that.
I'm proud to be able to, at least if I didn't have that when I was growing up or even now, I can create it for the generations to come and for the community that's around me. And I feel like we have the power to change so much, and Utah
Mm,
is changing so much
mhm.
already. But just to be able to be a part of that change and to create spaces that are never seen before, I feel like that's a really important thing that we have to keep going as creators.
Yes, and I love that, Mac, because it's so true. Like I feel like you said it. Like you have to. Sometimes we're waiting for someone to knock at our door and give us an opportunity, but in reality, it's like you have to put yourself in that position and not be scared. I get so many people who ask me, Cynthia, how do you get people on your like? How do who? I'm like, I just ask. I'm like, either they ignore me or they say no. Like it's not so serious to me, you know. And it's like, and I've learned that. Like even at my age, if you want to talk about ages, we're not going to go there. But and just kidding. But no, but seriously, like I feel like, and that's another thing. But you said something also that was really important, Mac, because I think a lot of times we do hold back because of my age, or I should have started, I should have, would have. My opinion is, look, listen, the past is already back. Like you can't go back there and rewind anything, right? What are you gonna do moving forward? And yeah, and living in Utah, I do feel like it is getting much better, especially here in this area, Salt Lake City area, you know. Um, but I'm literally admire every single one of you like creators here because I'm just like, wow, like you're doing it. And not just that, like you're creating, if you look at past like the what people think or whatever, it's like, listen, I'm creating freedom for myself. Like that's one thing I love. Like when I see your content, I'm just like, man, that's so cool. Like legitimately, I'm like, that is so cool to be able to do that. I tell my daughters sometimes, I'm like, Mija, just post. Like, who cares? Like, do you want to work this 9 to 5? They're like, you know, and sometimes again,
Mhm.
I think you have to have that. I guess I don't know what if you can correct me in here or say what your opinion is. Like, you have to have that drive or that dream that you have. It has to be bigger than what? Than your laziness or like the what if or what are they going to say about me, right?
Yeah,
I know you see
definitely.
so many people, you see the TikToks where like, if somebody could just share my video or I'm stuck in the 200 view, like, and people kind of get stuck in that. Like, would you say what does Mac do to get out of his head, or what did you have to do to be like, listen, I'm gonna shut the noise off and I'm gonna do what I gotta do?
Yeah. Honestly, I didn't have any other option.
Yeah.
I quit I truly, like, it was last year when I quit my 9 to 5,
Mm,
and I was like, what am I gonna
what am I
do?
gonna
And
do?
so when you're cornered, and you don't have to be cornered, you can choose that for
Yeah,
yourself. Like you can
true.
make that active decision. Like I
Mhm.
said earlier, when you start asking yourself the question and just like bringing that to your attention more and like being conscious about things and starting
Mhm.
to like, shift and stuff like that, that's when you can do it. But I personally didn't have another choice. I was like, it's do or
It's
don't.
now or
Like
never.
at this point,
Yeah.
it really was. Yeah. Like, how am I
Wow.
gonna make my money moving forward, or like what's
Mm,
stopping me? Once I was kind of like faced against that like wall, I was like, well, no, I have the power to pivot and I can start
yeah, I love
designing
that.
this life, and let's give it a shot. And just putting yourself out there and trying things out, but also staying consistent to
Mm,
your why and your reason. And just when you're like that laser focus on that ultimate goal that you have, that dream life, whether it's the material things or whether it's like
mhm.
the community that you're going to feel, or whether it's whatever like milestone, whatever determines your end goal,
Mm,
stay focused on that. And I feel like once you're so energetically focused and so
yeah,
connected to that, nothing else is going to shake you no matter what. And yeah, there's
that
always going to
part.
be good days and bad days. And there's a lot of bad days. And there's a lot of days where I'm like, oh my gosh, I just worked the whole day. I just went and shot at 3 different places, like,
Mhm.
content. And then now I have to spend the next 6 hours here editing. And then I have to wake up at 7 in the morning to edit another 4 hours to post before 10 because the
Yeah,
algorithm and this and that. And so
yeah.
it is a lot, but none of it matters as much as my dream life matters to me now.
See that part, and that's it's a beautiful thing. As I was listening to you right now, and literally in my mind, I'm like, man. even all the time and dedication that you're putting right now, it's going to get to a point where, I mean, I feel like you're just, you're a hard worker, but I think it's going to get to a point where you don't have to do that much, because you're going to get to this point
Yeah.
where you're just, the money's just coming in, and like, you still obviously run your business and stuff, but you're not going to, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I think that's part of success. Like, you have to put in the work, like, and then, but be so consistent that it's going to get to a point where you're like, whew, all right, now I could, like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But even then, would you say, because you guys, we have to work, right, for whatever we want, but like, imagine working for something that you have the power of your time, like, you know what I mean? Like you call the shots, like you say, okay, this is what I'm going to do. But you also have the power to say, like I invited you, could have been like, Cinthia, ooh, I don't have time. Like, you have the power to kind of run your schedule, And I think,
Yeah.
to me, like we talked about earlier, I feel like life is too short. And if we're on this earth and we're not actually pivoting, like you said, or doing what we need to do to be happy, to reach our goals, to dreaming bigger, because your mom or dad said, why are you doing that? Or people, like, I
Mhm.
think she's an influencer. Like, when you, like you said, when you shut out the noise and said, listen, this is an opportunity I can do, and I'll give you my own boss, I'm gonna do it. And that might, like you
Mhm.
said, that might not resonate for everybody. You guys are like, oh, I love my job, cool. But I'm just talking about, like, hey, life is too short. Like, you have to, I feel like you live on purpose. Is there going to be ups and downs? 100% always, but I think that mindset that you said is so important, because, like, you have to really be in touch with the energy and stuff like that, whatever you believe in. But
Mhm.
I feel like, I don't know, I think if you guys take anything, like, life is beautiful, you guys. It's bigger than what we think, regardless of what's going on in the world, because things that we don't have control of, the only thing that we can control is of what we do to be better,
Mhm.
right? Do better.
Definitely.
And I think it's just something, hopefully you guys can get inspired, because I feel like, I don't know, I know for me, when I'm not doing what I love, it's just like, you start feeling like, again, we talk about energy being real, I start feeling off, you know what I mean? Because it's like, man, I'm
Mhm.
not, what am I doing with my life? And you hear a lot of
Mhm.
people saying that, like, and so, to me, to see what you've done, Mac, is so cool, because it just gives that hope to people also, like, hey, listen, he's doing his thing, you know what I mean? And you're running with it. And I feel like you're very inspiring to so many people, because I see other influencers, and I see how, I feel like they admire you, you know what I mean? And I think it's really cool, as myself, of course, but
Thank
I,
you.
I salute you, because I know it's not easy, but you're such a prime example of, like, listen, this is the life I want. So this is what I got to do to do it. Right. And that's
Mhm.
where you're at right now. Would you say?
Yeah, I
Yeah.
feel like making your dreams non-negotiable, like
That part. Oof.
that's gonna switch everything. Like once
Mm,
everything, everything else can be a priority right now, but once you make that dream and that hustle your
yeah.
priority and like the only thing you're really working towards, like it's gonna be a little bit easier even just in your own mind to be like, okay, I gotta go to work, but that's
Yeah.
not all I am. I'm not just a
Exactly.
caseworker. I'm not just a clerk at a
Mm,
grocery store. I'm not just working at Walmart. I am an individual with dreams and aspirations that they are
yes.
deserving of, that's working towards things to whatever that looks like, to whatever degree you're working towards it. It doesn't have to look like this kind of work that I do. It can be
Yeah.
waking up in the morning and tell yourself your affirmations and really like honing in on, all of that. So
Hmm.
truly you deserve the world. And if like Cynthia said, if you're taking anything from this, like anything's possible, the sky's the limit as long as you don't limit yourself to what you have now.
I love that. I love it, guys. And I'm just pulling this up real quick. If you guys are watching and you're not following Mac, please make sure to follow him. This is Instagram, but also TikTok. Is it the same handle on TikTok? Yes, right?
Yes, same one.
Okay. Make sure you guys give him a follow, you guys. I'm telling you, it's so inspiring. I love the content. And I love this conversation, Mac, because I feel like, again, when you see influencers or even just famous people or anybody, people create this narrative in their mind of, like, oh man, like, wow, they have such a great life, or wow, look at, you know what I mean? But
Mhm.
again, it's not, to me, it's like, for me personally, it's inspiring. Like, oh wow, like, oh my gosh, like, you could actually do this, especially, not that it's easy, because, like, we just talked about, it takes work and time, right? But
Mhm.
still, like, if you're like, listen, I want to be my own boss, like, I want to be able to control maybe my time, or just do the things that I want, it is possible,
Yeah.
and like I said, it's easier to just sit there and compare and to wish. But I think when you see an example, you guys, we should take it as, like, okay, so if this is what I've always wanted, and Mac is doing it, or so and so is doing it, what I take from that is that it's possible. But obviously, he's doing something different to get to where he's at. other people are doing, you know what I mean? So, and that's the way to look at it, instead of saying, dang, man, lucky this person, or they, you know what I mean? Because you'll
Yeah.
get those people who are like, I see, ya se
Yeah.
compró un carro, or yeah, because people
Yeah.
are like that, especially in our culture también, Mac. Let's be real, you know what I
Oh
mean?
yeah. I know that.
But you're like, I know.
Oh, I
But I think, to
know.
me, I feel like if you switch it up and you're like, listen, hold on. Oh, okay. I can actually live a life, have the things I want. Why not? If you work hard, hello.
Mhm.
Right?
Definitely, yeah. And honestly, like if anyone, like anyone can do it. Like if there's something that you want truly, like I don't come from money. I have not had an easy life whatsoever. Like my upbringing was not the happiest, the healthiest. Like
Mm.
a lot of my life I spent feeling lonely. I felt alone
Oh,
because like, I mean, like, not to get like too personal or whatever, but like my
no,
mom would be
whatever
like,
you're comfortable sharing, I'm here for it.
thank you. Yeah, thank you. My mom raised me as a single parent. I
Mm,
never got to meet, my biological father. I grew
mm.
up in Mexico in a small town where he actually lived in, and so that
Wow.
was a mind cluster,
Yeah, yeah.
And then just growing up, like my mom had to work, she had to hustle, and I feel like I got a
Mhm.
lot of like her work ethic and her drive because I would see her. She was a kindergarten teacher in the morning, and then she would
Oh,
come home for lunch, and then she was an English teacher in the afternoon in high school, and
oh,
then she would
wow.
come and she had a nail business at the house, so she would do nails all night long until like 10, and then it was
Wow.
like, okay, we get to hang out and stuff like that. So a lot of my life was spent just pondering, like wondering like what's out there for me, or like just
Yeah,
like limiting myself and stuff like that. But I really
yeah.
had to work a lot on rising above and not just like staying
Mm,
positive. I feel like really is such a challenge for everybody as humans, but it's
yeah,
so important to really find the things that make you happy, like find those pockets of happiness, find that like alternate reality if you have to like
yeah,
really be like, okay, in the future, this is the life that I want, and these are the things that I do not want to experience
yeah.
anymore, and like really working towards that. And so I've found a way to really do what I want, know what I don't want for myself, and just protect my energy to a degree that I'm like so
Mm,
locked in that the universe truly is like, okay, well, I guess
wow.
we'll give him whatever he wants. So
Yeah.
truly, it's so important to stay like that,
I,
positive.
I I love that. Thank you for sharing that, because I think this is what, again, why I love doing this, because when you talk to people, again, you can see their results, if you will. You can see what they're doing online and stuff. But then when you have a conversation, you're like, oh, you're a real person. Oh, you've struggled too. Like, I don't know why people have this narrative of like, they just got luckier. And really it is a mindset. And Mac, like, I'm huge with mental health also, and like,
Mhm.
just because I feel like it starts there, right? And
Yeah.
and you're right. Like, I mean, a lot of us have gone through a lot of things, and I think it takes a lot for you, like you just said, to be like, all right, this is what I went through. Okay, hold on. How do I get out of this? Like what I want more for my life, regardless of what I didn't have or what I did go through or whatever the case may be, right?
Mhm.
It really is a choice of like, I want a better life for myself, for my loved ones, for, whatever the case may be. And actually believing in yourself. And I think that that is so important, because again, we can be our worst critiques, right? We can be our biggest haters. And I always say, and like you said, it's easier said than done. But like, what if we switch that and like, you know what? I'm my biggest fan. Whether
Yeah.
so and so doesn't believe in me, that's okay. It's
Mhm.
my journey, right? It's my dream. And I think we give so much power to other people. And I say this every episode too, guys. Please read the book "Let Them Theory" by Mel Robbins. It's so good. Like, we give so much power to people, and a lot of times we hold back on the things we want to do because of, what are they going to think? Are they going to accept me? Are they going to approve it? But when you remove that, it's like, no, this is what I want to do. And I'm sure, I mean, just from hearing you, like, this is what I want to do, or these are my options. Either A, I work on my businesses and get going on my entrepreneurship, or I go to a 9 to 5, which again, guys, nothing against obviously 9 to 5s, but you like, but that, if that doesn't make you happy, I feel like you're like, no, like, I don't want to go back to that. Like, I'm going to build my businesses. So I salute you. Like, I seriously, you're so inspiring. I love you. I love
Thank you.
watching your content. But on that, because I know time is running. Oh my gosh, time is flying so
No,
quick.
you're good.
Let's tell people like what you do, because I know you have a jewelry business. Did that come in a little bit later after you started doing social media? When did the jewelry come in? And then you also have like the photo booth, which I got to meet him in person too. I got a picture too. But like, how did you add that to like your, or did you start with that? How did that come in place? Tell us
Yeah,
all of everything, all
so
your business ventures.
let me tell you what I did. So, I mean, to go way back, my first business was actually a cleaning company. Like I had a
Hmm,
cleaning franchise back when I was 19. I started
look
that.
at you. Okay.
It did not succeed. I found out very quick that I do not like cleaning like that. So, especially for other people that are not my house. So I'm like,
Mm,
I couldn't
I
do
get
it.
it.
So I tried it, couldn't do it for a year. But then that's when I really realized, oh, the power of having like double income. Like I can't just, because I
Mm,
was a dental assistant while I was doing that. And so I had my two incomes. And then I quit the business and I was like, well, I can't go back to just making one income just
mm,
because like that, so it's
yeah.
hard to go back. And so
Hmm.
that's when I started my photo booth business back in 2018. I went
Okay.
to an event and I was like, oh, that sounds like a really cool thing. You get to
Yeah.
go party and like it's like
Yeah.
seems easy. You just print the pictures. And so I did my research, which always do your research for
Yeah.
everything and anything. And I found a company, I got my photo booth, and then yeah, that's been going since 2018. I still am fortunate enough to have the business up and running, and it's all still doing really well. I have my
Yeah.
long-term clients that are booking me for every event and every year, and
I
so
love
I've
that.
been blessed for that. But then it started just feeling less and less like I guess fulfilling entirely
Mm,
because I feel like you're allowed to outgrow
yep.
projects and like the things that you're doing and things
I
that you're
agree.
really focused on at some point may not seem as important to you later
Hmm.
on, and it can apply to businesses too.
Yeah.
I still make it work, but I definitely don't. I started doing my jewelry last year, so I was like, what else
Oh,
can I
last year.
do?
Okay.
Yeah, like what else can I do that's fulfilling to me that I've always wanted to do now that I
Hmm.
know that truly like anything is possible like that. So
I love it.
I did my jewelry business back in April just of 2025.
Oh,
And
wow.
so it was super successful too. I was able to use my social media because I started doing social media
Yeah.
before then. So I figured out how to do that and how to do marketing for businesses. And I'm like, well, let
Hmm.
me market my own business. And so
Yeah.
I started doing like farmers markets and being a vendor in there. And then I ran into a problem of like, oh shoot, like I'm not getting approved to be a vendor at these places because if you don't
Oh,
know, if you're a vendor, whatever you vend at like markets, farmers markets, you have to go through this process where you apply to be a vendor and then you pay a fee and then they'll tell you if they accept
oh.
you or not and stuff like that. So
Hmm.
places get booked and there's not always space for you. So I started
Yeah.
running into those issues of like, well, where am I gonna
Yeah.
vend or sell my jewelry if I can't do it? So
Yeah.
I started creating my own spaces. So I started looking into how can I book a venue? How can I start networking with other
Hmm.
businesses and put it together? And so then I solved that problem, but then I created a
Mm,
whole other business off of that where I'm like now like a market host and like I work with lots of businesses and collaborate with
I love
different
that.
things. And so just always finding a way to like really navigate through those things has been
Yeah.
something that I've learned along the way. And it's such an important thing to do. And so now I do that. I still have my photo booth, my jewelry brand. I just shot my Valentine's Day collection, which will be coming out in the next two
Oh, I'm gonna
weeks.
have to
So
check it out. I'm gonna have
yeah,
to get some
thank
stuff.
you.
Yeah.
Yeah, that'll be exciting. I'm also having my next market. It's called the Friends and Lovers and Friends Market. It's going to be
Okay.
on Sunday, February 1st here in Salt Lake City at the Hearth venue. And so yeah, just I do that, and then I started also my other business of like doing club promotions and stuff. I started
Oh,
working. I actually hosted a People of Color Utah influencer event last year as well, and I
oh,
was
did
like, you
you?
know what,
Oh, cool.
I
Yeah.
did, yeah. Yeah, I was like, you know what? Like, I have all these online friends, and now I have
Yeah.
these businesses, and I have all these, like, I can put my photo booth, and I have the venue because I have good deals with the venue because of the
Yeah.
market. So let me
Oh,
just put on this event. And so
yeah.
I put on the event, and from there, I was contacted by Flanker, which is a bar here in
Oh,
Salt
yeah.
Lake City. And
Yeah.
they're like, hey, do you want to host another one here? I'm like, well, no, but let's host a Latin night. And so I started
I
doing
love
that
that.
monthly. And so all that to say, I do a lot of everything, but the most important part is just like always being flexible with life and like the things
Mm,
that you see, the opportunities that come your way. Like always pay attention and think twice about all these things because they're put in your path for a reason.
yeah.
And maybe it's a whole other life path that's going to take you elsewhere,
That's so
So
true.
yeah, I do a whole lot of a bunch of things and God knows what I'll get into next year. But yeah, that's kind of how it's been with
No,
business with me.
but I love that, Mac, because I think you're right. You have to, especially when you're doing things on your own, like you have to, and I feel like all of the things you're doing just align with everything that you're doing, and I just love the attitude that you have, like, oh, hold on a second, okay, vendors, okay, you know what, let me host mine, and you start connecting with businesses and with owners, I'm sure, and then you start creating these opportunities. Not only that, you're also at the same time promoting the venue, right? You're promoting like the
Yeah.
place and stuff like that. So it's so smart, which I'm so sad that I haven't been able to go. Every time I see, I'm like, I'm gonna go to
Oh,
this one. And then now that I started working, it's just like, man, I get home, I'm so tired.
Of course. No
But I,
worries.
I still have to. I'm gonna. You have so many, that's why I'm excited. I'm like, okay, I have to get to one of the events because, and I think that's really cool too because you're getting to hosting. Like, I don't know. I feel like it's just so much fun. Obviously, it's a lot of work and
Yeah.
commitment, right? But
Hmm.
you're doing it, and I agree with you because I feel like you do have to have like a, especially as entrepreneurs, you have to have like a open mind of like, okay, this is what I'm doing. Like you said, you might grow out that dream, or you're like, I need to add more, or I need to maybe extend this, right? Or you know what I mean, expand it. Sorry, and I think that's really cool. So I salute you, my friend. Seriously, I'm so excited for to see your future. I mean, I love everything you're already doing, and I it makes me so happy to see like the success that you're having. Like seriously, I
Thank
say
you.
that genuinely from my heart. Like I just it makes me genuinely happy. And I know only amazing things are going to continue coming for you. And I'm so excited to see what you do. You know, I love to see all the videos, the collabs, like just even your business ventures. Like, I think it's just a prime example of like, listen, you can do things out here. Like you can live the life that you want to live. You know, it's just the matter of doing it, of believing in yourself and taking the steps necessary, educating yourself, learning, studying things, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I know for me, that's super, super inspiring. So I appreciate your time. And I know you
Thank
have things
you.
to do today. So before we leave, the latest one you have is the Valentine's one, or what's the next event you have?
Yes, so my next event is going to be my market, February 1st.
February 1st.
But
Okay.
then I do have another Latin night. My next, if you want to experience the hottest Latin nights that are safe spaces. Another thing I do want to mention is I really pride myself in creating safe spaces for all of
Mm,
my communities, all my intersectionalities
love
of like, the what I started seeing is that yes, there was some queer spaces, but maybe they weren't very Latino friendly.
that.
They were
Mm,
very catered to the Caucasian community, and so
yeah.
then I would go to like Hispanic or Latino focused events, and they were not very queer friendly at all, just because of the
Mm,
culture or whatever,
yeah.
So I really like to pride myself in creating those spaces where it is a safe space for
Are
those two
you welcome?
communities to come together. It's for girls
I
and the
love that.
gays. Everything I do is for us. So
Yes.
truly, it's if you want to experience that, my next one's going to be at Ivy and Barley on the 13th of February. It's going to be a
Okay.
little Galentine's event.
Oh, cute.
And on that note, I also want to host my next Utah People of Color influencer or
Oh,
content creator event. It's going to be on Friday 27th of February as well. I don't have all
okay.
the details on there yet. I
Okay.
haven't announced it or anything, but that is also coming up. So lots of cool things coming in
Exciting.
the next month for sure.
That's so exciting. Oh my gosh, you guys, make sure you follow Mac on all social medias, on TikTok, on Instagram. Please give him a follow. And seriously, you're so inspiring. I am excited to see everything else you're doing because you're doing so many amazing things. And I love it just because obviously local, like I said, in the future, I'll have a studio where I can interview again in person. But I'm excited for you. I wish you nothing but the best. Again, I appreciate you taking time out of I know you're busy day. I know you have things lined up already after this. So
Yes.
I appreciate you making time for me, and I'm just excited to see your continue grow and just to be an example, not just to the Latino community but to everyone, just to be a better person, to reach out and do your dreams, just believe in yourself. Like, you have so many great messages you said in the pod today, and I'm so grateful, that I got to meet you, and hopefully we can collab maybe in the near future. I know you got a lot of collabs going on over there, but who knows.
Of
But yeah,
course.
anything you want to say just to go ahead and close off today's podcast, people watching, or whatever you want to say, and then we'll go ahead and give you your time back. I appreciate you so much.
Thank you. Likewise. Thank you, Cynthia, so much. And I
Yes.
first want to say before anything, truly thank you so much for everything you've said about me. Truly take it as a mirror right back to you. You are such an inspiration to all of us as well. I love seeing a Latina just like doing the thing and like putting herself out there. And like a podcast is no easy work, especially when you have a job and you have all these things going on. So truly, I wanted to take the time. And I'm sure everybody that's watching, whether it's now live or in the future, the playbacks, like we're all sharing that same sentiment. Like truly props to you. Congratulations for everything you're building, for following your dreams, for being such a strong, powerful pillar of the community. And I know that there's not a single doubt in my mind that you're going to get that big, fancy podcast studio and you're going to
Thank
make all
you.
your dreams come true. And you have the drive and you
Appreciate
have the spark. And truly, like, thank you for sharing that with us. And
it. Of
you're just
course.
such a
Thank you.
talented woman. Truly, thank
Oh,
you.
thank you. That was sweet. I
Yeah,
appreciate
of
you.
course. And on another note, just to end things, I do just want to remind yourselves of just some highlights that we talked about today. Truly follow your dreams, believe in yourself, really focus on your why. The sky's the limit. the sun shines
Love
for
it.
everybody. Like anything's possible. It wouldn't be possible if it wasn't even a dream of yours. So truly, just if you can tonight, like sit down with yourself, maybe journal a little bit, but really like ask yourself that question of like, what is my why? What do I want to do? What
Mm,
do I want my life to look like now? Not
yeah,
50, 60 years from now. What do I want now? How can I make that happen for myself to whatever degree now, you know? And if you guys ever have any questions, if you ever have any questions about content, events, like truly anything, my DMs are always open. I may not always respond super quickly. I do have a lot going on, but I'm
yeah.
always happy to answer. And like, I always want to be that person that can, you know, give and share the
Mm,
knowledge. I'm never going to gatekeep truly. So,
yeah.
yeah, anytime that you guys need me, I am here. And thank you so much for tuning in. Thank you for
Yeah.
listening to my story and being a part of my very first podcast experience. Truly, I'm so grateful for
Hey,
you.
another check off
Yeah.
your right.
My vision board. Yes. Thank you.
I love that. No, no, and thank you. And that's another thing I was gonna say just to end it off. On top of everything that you're doing, Mac, I seriously like I see your heart and I feel like you have such a beautiful heart, a beautiful aura, and like I just you don't come around people like that too often, you know. And
Thank
sorry,
you.
my son's calling me. But so I genuinely see that. Like I'm a big energy person too, and I think when you start getting success, some people are, you know, they're like, it gets to their heads, but I feel like you're very grounded, very humble, and you have a beautiful heart. So never
Thank you.
change. So I
Thank
appreciate
you.
you. Yeah, of course. I appreciate you again. I'm excited to see everything that's coming. And you guys, if you guys tuned in live, we appreciate you guys. And if not, if you're watching a replay, also make sure to drop a comment, follow Mac on all social medias, you guys. And thank you so much for tuning in every week. And we'll see you guys next week. Mac, thank you so much again. I appreciate you.
Thank you.
Okay, we'll see you
Thank
guys
you,
next week.
Queen.
Okay,
Bye,
bye.
guys. Thank you.